Good evening, Zimbabwe. This is Change Radio News. Today is Wednesday, 22 May 2025. The news read by Divine Nambira. Here are the news headlines. CCC MPs aligned to Senator Jameson Timba form a progressive caucus. Professor Asa Mutambara launches a book on AI. Progressive Teachers Union petitions Mnangagwa to act on education. And now the news in detail. More than 50 Citizen Coalition for Change legislators attended a parliamentary caucus meeting led by Senator Jameson Timba yesterday. Both CCC representatives in Parliament and the Senate attended this meeting. The meeting's resolution is to utilize Parliament as a platform for advocating for the total transformation of the living realities of millions of Zimbabweans suffering under ZANU-PF's leadership. In a press statement, the caucus said that no CCC deployed in Parliament or Council should be subjected to any meeting convened by self-imposed Secretary General Sengezo Tshabangu or Welshman Ncube. The MPs will be the Progressive Caucus, and any caucus meeting convened without their involvement will be disregarded by the authentic CCC. The Progressive Caucus denounced calls for constitutional amendments seeking to extend the tenure of both Parliament and the Presidium beyond 2028. The Progressive Caucus will mobilize citizens to resist ZANU-PF's 2030 agenda. Moreover, the Progressive Caucus will publish a bi-weekly brief on parliamentary processes, including announcements on public hearings and petitions. Change Radio spoke with the caucus spokesperson, Honorable Agency Gumbo, who said,
Thank you very much and greetings to the people of Zimbabwe. Agent Gumbo here. I just wish to touch and speak on the topic or the issue of our parliamentary caucus, the Progressive Parliamentary Caucus, which is a parliamentary caucus which represents a collective of CCC members of parliament who were both either elected by the people of Zimbabwe directly and or appointed by President Nelson Chamisa in the 2023 general elections. We have decided to take a clear stance based on our loyalties to the people of Zimbabwe and the protracted struggle for democratic transition and consolidation in this country. This stance we have taken is that we will not remain silent and allow the hijack of the People's Project by ZANU-PF, nor allow the mutilation of our constitution through advancements of the purported 2023 agenda. ZANU-PF is well aware that Parliament serves as an arena through which we can aggravate the demand for change in Zimbabwe and effectively resist its hegemony. It is for such reason that ZANU-PF then created a creature called Sengezo Tshabangu, through which it has orchestrated a litany of recalls against our progressive, people-centered, and loyal MPs. The intention by ZANU-PF here is to manufacture a pliant and docile opposition which acts as an appendage to its power retention agenda. So it is against this background that we have chosen to organize ourselves within Parliament as the Progressive Parliamentary Caucus. And soon we shall be doing same with our local authorities across the country in order for us to escalate our fight against ZANU-PF and push for the much needed economic, political, and electoral reforms in this country. You see, our wish is to blot out any blurred lines, because not all MPs sing the ZANU-PF tune. Not all MPs are in there for the trinkets and trappings of power. Not all MPs have abandoned the people. And not all MPs are with this Tshabangu guy. Our caucus is alive to the Zimbabwean struggle And thus we wish to join the collective and organic organization of Zimbabweans across the country and across the globe in order for us to fight for change in Zimbabwe and to fight against any extension of the Zanopf rule beyond 2028.
Former Zimbabwe's Deputy Prime Minister Professor Arthur Mutambara launched his 7th book yesterday in Harare. The book, titled Artificial Intelligence, a Driver of Inclusive Development and Shared Prosperity for the Global South, aims to advance Africa's AI landscape and ensure technology benefits all. Speaking at the launch of the book, Professor Mutambara encouraged Zimbabwe and Africa to embrace and adopt AI. He urged them to participate in AI discussions and build, design, and fabricate AI systems. The event was attended by industry experts, professionals, and politicians, both from the ruling party and the opposition. Former CCC Deputy Spokesperson Gift Ostalo Ciziba was among the guests in attendance. Let's listen to Professor Mutambara's presentation on AI.
You see, the Global South, by the way, is the global majority. 6.6 billion people out of 8 billion people live in the Global South. And the Global South is not a geographical concept. It's more of an economic concept where we are talking about emerging and least industrialized countries. Now, the issue is if we don't deploy AI to improve the quality of life of our people, the gap between the Global North and the Global South is going to increase. The gap between the rich nations and the poor nations is going to increase. The gap within country between the poor and the rich is going to increase. So it's very important that we use AI as the driver, as a tool to drive inclusive development, to drive shared prosperity. If we don't do that, there will be a problem. There are dangers, of course. If we don't participate in being creators of AI, the AI might not be very useful to us. There might be biases, there could be discrimination. So in addition to deploying and using AI, we must also become creators of AI systems. We must also become producers of AI systems so that the AI systems are relevant to our situations. We know our problems better than the Global North. We know our problems better than Silicon Valley. When I say energy poverty, when I say access to good quality education, when I say healthcare, when I say mining, when I say poverty, these challenges are very uniquely ours in terms of the Global South. We can't wait for Silicon Valley to solve these problems for us. We can't wait for the Global North to solve them for us. Why don't we, as citizens of the Global South, have agency where we use AI, we deploy AI to solve our problems? Number two, we build AI systems to address our problems. That's what is the motivation. That is the agenda and mandate of this book.
Let's also hear from Gift Ostalo Ciziba, former CCC Deputy Spokesperson, on his views about AI and the book launch.
Thank you very much. We participated in the book launch by Professor Arthur Mutambara precisely because in the democratic alternative, we believe in production and reproduction of knowledge. And Professor Arthur Mutambara offers very critical insights into the changing world economy, thanks to the emergence of artificial intelligence and how Zimbabwe as a country and SADC as a region and Africans in particular and the entire Global South in general can forge alliances and converge in a bid to benefit from the upcoming revolution. We've always argued as the democratic opposition, not just on the superiority of ideas and knowledge production, but also on the need for the African continent and the Global South to speak collectively on the agenda of building our economic powerhouse as a continent and as the oppressed people of the world. So his book comes at a very important historic moment where policymakers and leaders in the continent ought to begin the conversation around how to benefit from this fourth industrial revolution, because the continent ought not to be left out in this conversation, and to ensure that we accelerate our development discourse and industrialization program informed by the new technologies and the emergence of artificial intelligence. So we did so to gain insights, also to converse with different stakeholders and players, corporates, business leaders, and members of the academy in trying to locate Zimbabwe in this geopolitical shift. So the democratic alternative is embraced by the emerging conversations and intend to take the conversations happening to our grassroots and to our different platforms so that we're able to carry forward this conversation with the citizens at the center.
Let's also get insights from business expert Peter Ganya on the implications of AI in the business world.
Thank you very much, Radio, for affording me this opportunity to discuss on artificial intelligence. I know and understand Professor Mtambara launched his book yesterday on artificial intelligence. Zimbabwe is endowed with such capabilities and such brains as Professor Mtambara and many others. And I know also that Comrade Giftos Talos Ciziba did attend this. We always say artificial intelligence is no longer futuristic. It is now. We therefore have to employ. I've seen the government rolling out such other analogic measures to advance in both agriculture, business, and the health systems. You've seen the ED for ED for ED for ED, and I've wondered how backward we are. Israel is a very small country, and yet it excels in artificial intelligence, in agriculture. We could do the same. We are an agrarian country, and we've got the right soils and vegetation to improve our agriculture, but there's no reason why we cannot embrace artificial intelligence to enable precision agriculture. When I talk of AI technologies in agriculture business, we would want to do what farmers today don't do to optimize farming practices. We should collect as much data as we can on agriculture, analyze it, and then get it back to our farmers. This cannot be achieved through command agriculture.
The Progressive Teachers Union of Zimbabwe has submitted a petition to Zimbabwean President Emmerson Mnangagwa, warning him that the education system was crumbling under his watch. The teachers are arguing that President Mnangagwa must intervene over poor salaries and various challenges bedeviling the education sector. Teachers are decrying low salaries and are demanding that the government must pay them at least $540, which they were earning before October 2018. Some have even bumped up the figure to $1,200. Teachers have over the years been at loggerheads with the government over low salaries. Currently, teachers earn an average of $250 per month and around 3,000 ZiG respectively. PTUZ Secretary General Raymond Majongwe told the media that they submitted their petition to the President's office. Only 3 days remain to the official annual general meeting of Avoceni FM, a community radio station in Chiredzi. However, there has been no public announcement and no official communication concerning the matter. The Avoceni FM leadership, which has made headlines for hijacking the community radio for personal gain, has been exposed for failing to publicly announce the AGM as stipulated by the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Information, Publicity and Broadcasting Services, Nick Mangwana. Despite efforts by government officials, including Broadcasting Authority of Zimbabwe, the crew led by Denford Masia, former MP for Chiredzi East, has allegedly held a bogus AGM attended by a few selected individuals who were bussed to the event. As ZANU-PF's factional wars continue, Provincial Youth Chairperson Emmanuel Mahachi is being targeted for purging by Masimi Rembwa. Masimi Rembwa, who is the ZANU-PF Provincial Chairman for Harare, is being accused of weaponizing his office against political opponents. ZANU-PF is a political party that is known for using dirty tactics that include expulsion, imprisonment, defamation of character, or even death when dealing with political opponents, both inside and outside of the party. In the past days, Mnangagwa called for strict adherence to party procedures and promotion of unity across all structures. And in news from local communities, 6 Chinese nationals were granted $200 bail by Magistrate Tendai Mutamba yesterday after being arrested for trespassing at the Oneirik mine in Dali east of Chiredzi. The individuals were apprehended last Thursday for illegally constructing structures on a protected mining site. The group was jointly charged with Nyasha Chauke, a local, for refusing to leave the mine, which is registered under Special Grant number 7809. According to reports, the Chinese nationals who reside at Mupinga Business Center conspired with Chauke to enter the mine and begin erecting their structures. The mine owners discovered the unauthorized developments on April the 25th, 2025, and attempted to hold the construction by engaging the Chinese workers on May the 7th, 2025. Despite the warnings, the construction continued, prompting mine owners to file a police report. They were arrested by detectives from the Chiredzi CID Minerals, Flora and Fauna Unit. The $138 million deal awarded to a firm controlled by ZANU-PF legislator Farai Jere to develop Harare's water reticulation facilities was reduced to $30 million following a public uproar. The Ministry of Local Government handpicked Jere's Helcro electrical projects to execute the mandate in partnership with Chinese-based Hangzhou Liaison Technology, according to documents seen by the media in January. The decision, however, was fiercely resisted by representatives of Harare's ratepayers. They queried whether the deal had followed approved public tendering frameworks and questioned how the project would be funded, considering the huge capital outlays it required. This week, a source close to the matter told the independent Helcros that mandate had now been confined to supplying smart meters, an area where it has a demonstrable track record. In international news, the tense meeting between South Africa's President Cyril Ramaphosa and United States President Donald Trump took place at the Oval Office at the White House in Washington, D.C. yesterday. The dramatic encounter in the American capital was at times evidently uneasy and fiery as expected. During the encounter, Trump confronted Ramaphosa and ambushed the South African delegation with a video of a discredited claims of a white genocide allegedly unfolding in the African nation. Trump said the white farmers were experiencing horrible death in South Africa, but Ramaphosa countered by saying crime in the country affected citizens of all backgrounds. Trump listed grave concerns about the treatment of white Afrikaner farmers, which he punctuated by playing a video and leafing through a stack of printed news articles that he claimed proved his allegations. South African opposition leader EFF Julius Malema, who was featured on Trump's video chanting, "Kill the Boer," dismissed the White House meeting as a group of older men gossiping about him. A South African court has declared asylum filtering system unconstitutional. Parts of the Refugees Act and its regulations that allowed for Home Affairs to filter asylum seekers who do not have valid transit visas has been declared unconstitutional. The Western Cape High Court agreed with the Skabini Center that this put asylum seekers at risk of being sent back to their home countries where they could face persecution. The matter will go to the Constitutional Court for confirmation. Nigeria has successfully cleared a $3.4 billion loan from the International Monetary Fund (IMF), originally secured in April 2020 to address challenges triggered by the COVID-19 pandemic and falling oil prices. The final payment was completed by April 30, 2025. This has removed Nigeria from the IMF's list of debtor nations, a significant step in bolstering the country's global financial standing. Government officials hailed the repayment as a testament to Nigeria's fiscal discipline under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's leadership. However, economic challenges persist, with inflation and poverty remaining significant concerns. And finally, in sports news, Tottenham Hotspur ended their 17-year wait for a trophy with victory against Manchester United in the Europa League final. Brennan Johnson, 42, scored the game's only goal in Bilbao, with Son Heung-min becoming the first Tottenham captain to lift a trophy since Ledley King in 2008. Son will now lead his side out in next season's Champions League. Warriors coach Michael Needs and his assistant Teixeira Chiragui will not lead the national team at the upcoming COSAFA tournament. The duo will be in Morocco with the senior national team scheduled to play 2 friendly matches against Niger and Burkina Faso. Zifa is meanwhile looking for a new coach to lead the team on an interim basis at COSAFA. And now, to end the news bulletin, here are the headlines once again. CCC MPs aligned to Senator Jameson Timba form a progressive caucus. Professor Arthur Mutambara launches a book on AI. Progressive Teachers Union petitions Mnangagwa to act on education. And that concludes our bulletin for the day. We thank you for listening. From myself, Divine Nambira, and the entire team at Change Radio, we wish you a blessed night.